You know that feeling when your heart's in your throat, but your brain still thinks it's in control? That was 96 minutes at the Bernabeu today. Not a match, not a fixture, not a result. That was a pulse check, and depending on who you were rooting for, your pulse was either galloping or flatlining by the end. 3-2. Real Madrid 3, Celta Vigo 2. That is how the scoreboard chose to summarize it, but that's like describing the Mona Lisa as a lady smiling. Technically accurate, emotionally bankrupt. Because this match was alive. It bled, it shook, it collapsed and clawed back. Let's start with what should have been straightforward. Real Madrid, at home, against a side they've beaten like a drum for 2 decades. Celta haven't won here since the mid-2000s. They arrive knowing the script, play well, lose anyway, leave with polite applause. And for a long time, that's exactly how it looked. Guler. Arda Guler, the kid with a name that sounds like it belongs on the side of a spaceship, opened the scoring. It was clever, spontaneous, a moment pulled from the margin, a short corner routine that felt like Real Madrid accidentally playing jazz. Vasquez returns it, Guler swings his hips, opens a window, and bends a deflected shot into the top left corner. 1-0. That was the first time the Bernabeu stood. It would not be the last. And then came Mbappe. If Guler is a spark, Mbappe is a furnace. The man could power a city block with his acceleration. First goal, vintage. A counterattack that looked like it had been storyboarded for an action film. Bellingham finds him on the right. Mbappe explodes into the space and finishes with such casual certainty that Guaita must have wondered if time had skipped a frame. 2-0. Easy, right? You wish. Because there's something about Madrid this season. They don't win clean. They don't win like clockwork. They win like a drowning man reaching for air. And just when it felt like Celta were dead and buried, Mbappe decides to stamp his boots into the mud a second time. 3-0. Right after the break, a lovely Guler assist again, because the kid wasn't done yet, and Mbappe slots it low, neat, bored-looking. 3-0. Now surely it's done. Wrong again. Because Celta, bless them, didn't read the script. Or maybe they did and just decided to set it on fire. It starts with Javi Rodriguez, not exactly a household name, but right place, right time, and more importantly, right reaction. Madrid fumble a clearance off a corner. Rodriguez takes one swing and belts it into the roof of the net. 3-1. It's not a comeback yet, but it's the crack in the door. Then the moment. The real one. Aspas. Iago Aspas. He wasn't in the starting 11. He's been a shadow of himself this year. But he comes on and immediately starts conducting chaos. One pass, one line-breaking, soul-splitting pass that might have needed a pilot's license, and suddenly Swedberg is free. Swedberg, who has no business being this composed, slots it calmly past Courtois, 3-2. Now it's a game. Now the Bernabeu isn't watching football. It's watching fate being rewritten in real time. And from there, it's war. Courtois pulling off saves with every inch of his 7-foot wingspan. Guaita denying Brahim from close range like he's channeling his inner Oliver Kahn. The midfield becomes a highway. Bellingham's tearing down at 1 minute, then Duran the next. Tackles fly in like drunken ghosts, the crowd can't sit, Ancelotti can't breathe. Celta sniff it. That third goal, that miracle. You can feel them chasing it, feel the static in the air. Every Madrid clearance is cheered like a goal. Every Celta cross feels like a loaded weapon. But it never comes. The final whistle slices the tension like a knife. Madrid don't celebrate. They exhale. They don't win. They survive. And isn't that something? Isn't that the most Real Madrid thing of all? To throw away control, to invite danger into the living room, offer it tea, and still, somehow, walk away with all 3 points. So here's the thing about football matches. They lie to you. The first half tells you one story, a clear, comfortable narrative, a simple arc. And if you're not careful, if you're one of those fools who checks the halftime score and heads off to do laundry, you might think you've seen the whole film. But then the second half arrives like a sequel, directed by someone entirely unhinged. The vibe changes, the characters flip, and the calm little drama you thought you were watching becomes a thriller with a body count. This one started like a training session. Real Madrid, neat, clinical, a bit self-satisfied. Celta Vigo, alert but obedient like they were guests in someone else's house. For 20 minutes, Madrid had 75% of the ball and exactly zero intent. Just passing for the sake of passing. There was more threat in a yoga class. But then... snap. Minute 33. Guler's moment. A short corner routine, the kind that usually ends with fans rolling their eyes and shouting, "Just get it in the box." But this one? This one had teeth. A touch from Vasquez, a shimmy, a swing, a deflection, bang, top bins. Guaita rooted. The crowd rises. Suddenly, everyone remembers they're at a football match. From there, Madrid find the cheat code. Transition. Celta get a little too ambitious, lose the ball high up, and boom. Madrid are off. Bellingham's pass is elegant, Mbappe's run is terrifying, and his finish is, well, it's Mbappe. Calm as a sleeping cat. 2-0. And at that point, Celta looked done. Their press fell apart, their midfield turned to soup, and every Madrid touch felt like a countdown. You could feel Ancelotti's smugness radiating from the touchline. Guler was having fun, Mbappe was flying, even Bellingham looked like he was warming up for something special. The Bernabeu buzzed, not in fear or even excitement, in expectation. This felt inevitable. Then came halftime. Now imagine the halftime talk. Celta Vigo's locker room, fluorescent lights, sweat dripping, silence. Geraldez walks in. He's not screaming. He's not flipping tables. But you know what he probably said? They think we're done. Prove them wrong. The second half begins and you can smell it. The air's different. Celta aren't just playing for pride. They're playing for the story. And the story, for a few glorious minutes, is a revenge plot. But first, Madrid's final act of control. Minute 48. Guler again, of course it's Guler, slides Mbappe through with a pass that cuts Celta's entire defensive line into slices. Mbappe doesn't even break stride. Bottom corner. 3-0. End of the game, right? Wrong. Because football has this perverse talent for punishing certainty. Celta suddenly wake up. Not with some grand tactical masterstroke, but with anger. With fight. They press harder, they run faster, they pass with intent instead of fear. And just past the hour mark, they get a lifeline. A scramble in the box, a ball not fully cleared, and there's Javi Rodriguez, who somehow becomes a poacher in the body of a center back. Smashes it home. 3-1. The Bernabeu shifts in its seat. Ancelotti's face changes. The smugness slips. You can see him thinking, we've seen this movie before. And then Aspas enters. Oh, Aspas. What a beautifully strange player, equal parts magician and mischief maker. And his first contribution? A pass. But not just any pass. A defense-destroying, ego-shattering through-ball to Swedberg, who ghosts in behind and finishes like a veteran striker, not a fresh-legged substitute. 3-2. Game on. And suddenly the Bernabeu, that theater of dreams and dread, is silent, not bored, not sleepy. Afraid. Because Celta keep coming, shot after shot, through balls, crosses. Sprints down the flanks, Aspas barking orders like a field general, Swedberg trying to write his name in fairy tales. And Madrid, they're no longer playing. They're reacting. Hanging on, begging the clock to run faster. Ancelotti throws on Modric like a priest throwing holy water. Doesn't matter, the chaos is loose. Courtois has to save Madrid twice, once from Duran, once from Aspas. Guaita on the other end denies Brahim. It's like a knife fight in a phone booth. And yet, Madrid don't collapse, not fully. They've made it a habit this season of waltzing toward disaster and then pirouetting away at the last second. They do it again here. No grace, no calm, just sheer grit. 3-2. Final whistle, and breathe. But let's not lie to ourselves. This was not a dominant performance. This was not title-winning football. This was a Houdini act. Madrid had this game in their pocket and still almost set their pants on fire. Let's talk about both sides now. Not just who won, not just who scored. Let's talk about who showed up, who fought, who shaped the match into the messy masterpiece it became. Because if you're only seeing this match as a 3-2 win for Real Madrid, you're missing half the story. Celta Vigo didn't come to play football today. They came to stir the pot, to spill it, and nearly drank from the chaos they'd brewed. Start with the home side. Madrid. Aristocrats of European football. The side built to win, built to intimidate, built to stroll through matches like emperors crossing the courtyard. Except this Real Madrid? This is not that. This team is walking a high wire with no safety net. They are so close to brilliance and so close to disaster at the same time. It's actually stressful to watch. Injuries have turned their backline into a jigsaw puzzle from 3 different boxes. Carvajal, out. Militao, out. Mendy, out. Rudiger, in the stands looking like he wants to body check the stretcher. What's left? Asensio and Vasquez, both of whom had the kind of match that makes you appreciate how hard defending actually is. And yet, despite the patchwork defense, Madrid to do just enough. That's their whole vibe this season. Just enough. Offensively, they're chaos wrapped in silk. Vinicius runs like he's glitching. Bellingham floats between brilliance and bafflement. Guler, a lightning bug with a rocket launcher. And Mbappe, he's just terrifying. He doesn't even sprint. He materializes. Madrid can be dull for 30 minutes, then suddenly score 2 and 5 and act like that's how they planned it. Spoiler, it isn't. But Madrid's issue isn't talent, it's control. They don't seem to want it. They build leads only to light them on fire, and then dare the opposition to come at them. It's as if they think football matches are made better by suffering. Maybe they're right, but it's exhausting. Now, Celta Vigo. Oh, Celta. You beautiful, reckless dreamers. This is a team that knows who it is. They don't pretend to be juggernauts, they don't have the payroll or the pedigree, but what they do have is guts. And ambition. And a coach in Christian Giraldez who clearly told his players, if we're going to die, let's die interesting. Let's be honest, they were brave. Incredibly brave. They started like prey. For 20 minutes they were chasing shadows, but kept their heads. And when Madrid showed even a crack, they pounced. The substitutions were fearless. Aspas on for Sotelo, that's not safe. That's not defensive. That's a let's rewrite this script decision. And it worked. Aspas changed everything, like tossing a firecracker into a quiet room. His movement, his vision, that assist, it was outrageous. And Swedberg, clinical. Ice cold. He didn't even blink. What a moment for him. What a punchline. The midfield trio, Beltran, Sotelo, and Mingueza, they ran themselves into the dirt. They might need new lungs after this. And the fullbacks? Rodriguez and Lago were just everywhere. Lago in particular, who probably should have been sent off twice, and yet ended the match with a man-of-the-match case built on pure chaos. And Guaita. Old Vicente Guaita. The man's been playing professional football since the internet still made dial-up noises. And here he is, saving point-blank efforts like it's 2011 and he's auditioning for Valencia again. That save from Brahim at the end? That was theater. That was drama. That was Guaita saying, not on my watch. Celta had no business pushing Real Madrid to the edge like this. But they did. And they did it with style. They did it with soul. They did it by playing like it meant something. Because for them, it does. Every point is a lifeline. Every goal is a reason to dream about Europe next season. So what do we say? Madrid survived. Celta fought. One team clinging to the top of the mountain, fingernails bleeding. The other clawing up the slope, grinning through the pain. Two teams. One match, no passengers. You want names, you want faces? You want the characters who stepped out of the page today and turned 96 minutes into an epic? Fine. Let's talk individuals. Let's talk about the ones who didn't just play. They performed. This match didn't happen in formations or tactical diagrams. It happened in moments, in decision-making, in flaws, in flair, in fury. And it happened through them. Start, of course, with Arda Guler. The kid's got moonlight in his boots. This isn't just a promising youngster. This is a presence. Every touch felt like it came with intent. The short corner that led to the opener? That was craft. Not just technique, thinking. Then the assist from Mbappe's second? Like watching someone slice through a wall with a violin string. There's something about Guler that makes time bend around him. He plays like the game slows down just for him to find the right thread. Real Madrid has had many young stars. Few have made it look this inevitable. Then there's Kylian Mbappe. 2 goals. Business as usual. But here's the twist. He still looked bored. Not uninterested. Just aware of his superiority in that vaguely smug way that only he can pull off. His first goal was ruthless. His second, mechanical. You can't coach what he does. He's a cheat code. But here's the catch. He missed a sitter late on. Slashed at it like he was in a rush to catch a train. It didn't cost Madrid this time, but it was a reminder. Even gods misfire. Jude Bellingham. The prince of controlled chaos. He didn't score, didn't assist, but he ran the transitions. He carried the ball with the kind of conviction that made you lean forward. And yet, there were moments of waste. A couple of pot shots, a yellow card. He wasn't perfect. He was better than that. He was human. And in a team of players either trying too hard or barely trying at all, Bellingham looked like someone trying to write poetry in a burning room. Now let's talk Thibaut Courtois. Thibaut put out the fire. Courtois. There were two saves that might have kept Madrid from spiraling into another draw-shaped disaster. The stop from Duran, where the ball almost rolled under him like some evil trick of physics. That one was absurd. And the one on Iglesias in the first half? Stretch Armstrong would have been proud. He's not just Madrid's last line. He is the line. Let's not ignore the old wizard either, Luka Modric. Came on late, wearing the captain's armband like it was woven from mythology. Didn't even need to touch the ball that much. Just pointed, moved, calmed. A ghost of greatness, still whispering into the game's ear. Madrid looked less drunk the moment he stepped on. For Celta? Heroes, straight up. Iago Aspas, give this man a cape. He enters the pitch and instantly becomes the gravitational center of the match. Not just the assist, though that pass to Swedberg was so good it should be illegal, but the way he bent the game around him. Aspas didn't score. He didn't need to. He possessed. And Williat Swedberg, remember the name. No, tattoo it onto the part of your brain reserved for players who don't blink. The finish was low, clean, without hesitation. But more than that, the run. He saw Aspas on the ball and just knew. He knew the pass was coming. That is chemistry. That is instinct. That is why Celta still dream of Europe. Vintage. Like pulling a bottle of wine from a dusty shelf and realizing it's aged like a miracle. He kept Celta in it with 2 or 3 sharp stops, and not just any stops. Timely ones. The Brahim save late on? That was the difference between a brave loss and a potential point. Javi Rodriguez, the goal scorer. The kind of goal you want from a defender. Mean, close range, and full of anger. No flair, no finesse, just violence. And Celta needed it. He played like a man who hates conceding. You love to see it. Shout out to Yoel Lago, too. Was a yellow card waiting to happen for most of the match, but he played every second like he was defending a sacred artifact. Did he foul Mbappe? Absolutely. Was it worth it? Honestly, probably. And let's be a little generous to Borja Iglesias, who didn't score, didn't shine, but ran like a haunted man being chased by debts. The work rate was outrageous. He didn't get his goal, but he left every drop of effort on that pitch. So yes, 3-2. But behind every number, every line on a stat sheet was a player writing their own verse. Some soared, some stumbled. Some, like Aspas and Guler, reminded us why we watch in the first place. Football, in the end, isn't about systems. It's about moments, and these were the people who created them. This has been Across the Pitch. Over and out.